Everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're delving into a fascinating question. Are we portals? Specifically, how our bodies might function as living energetic gateways, connecting us to the Earth's subtle energies and broader cosmic flows. If you've been following along with my previous videos or any of my other conversations, you'll know I love bridging the spiritual and the scientific to help you align more deeply with your soul's purpose and to align us more with the earth itself. So, the idea we're talking about today builds on that. It shifts our focus really from external dowsing to the innate capabilities within us all. So before we get started, if you find this resonates with you, do give the video a like. It helps others discover these insights, and subscribe with notifications on for more practical explorations of geomancy, dowsing, and holistic wellness. So let's begin. To understand this concept, let's start with the basics. From a scientific perspective, our bodies are bioelectromagnetic systems. We generate our own electrical fields. So think of this as the heart's electromagnetic output, which is measurable actually from several feet away. This is essentially our aura. So the Earth's magnetic field, meanwhile, that interacts with us constantly because we have an electromagnetic field and we are walking through the Earth's electromagnetic field. So the Earth's electromagnetic field is not just a shield against solar radiation, but it's actually a dynamic grid system of electromagnetic currents, often called ley lines. I tend to think of them as telluric energies in the sort of geomantic framework. So spiritually, many ancient traditions from Druid microcosm of the universe. The universe is holographic. So in essence, represent the universe, and so do you. And our energy centers, like what you may think of as the chakras, these energy centers within our bodies act like portals where personal energy really meets planetary and cosmic flows. So when I look at chakras, I see these perfectly unfolding patterns. They're like funnels of energy, like tunnels of energy. They open out, but they have all these really complex geometric patterns in, and within that, that's where we sort of bring in earth energy and cosmic energy. That's what I see. That's how my brain puts a visual, because I see them visually with my eyes, but that's how my brain puts the image that I'm seeing. Whether they actually look like that could still be down to interpretation, but I see these things visually with my eyes as real as anything else, and that's how I actually see them. So by tapping into that, that means that we're not separate from the earth and cosmic energies. These act like a portals. We are conduits where we bring this energy in. And by tapping into this sort of innate connection that we have, whether we feel it or not, we can really enhance our more intuitive abilities. That could be dowsing, it could be just the subtle sensing of vibrations with our body. And that unlocking of our deep intuition, our deep inner knowing, that can lead to really profound personal transformations. So why does this matter? Why should we be, the world's a bit of a crazy place. Why should it matter for us to tap into these things? Well, in our modern world, we're often disconnected from these natural rhythms of life, urban living. We can almost escape the seasons. We don't have to go out there and, we escape a lot of the natural world by urban living, or we block out a lot of the natural world. Whereas electromagnetic pollution from our devices, we have wires and Wi-Fi and technology everywhere. And stress of modern living can disrupt our alignment. And this can lead to feelings of sort of imbalance. I don't feel right, but I don't know why. We also can lack purpose. We're just getting up, going to work every day. We know we were made for more. We know we came with some kind of soul purpose, but we're not actually living it. But by recognizing ourselves as this sort of as portals that we can tap into this universal knowledge, we can reclaim our soul power. So it's all about soul alignment. It's about harmoning our inner world with the earth's world so that our actions really flow from a place of real deep soul authenticity, not, social media authenticity, but really soul authenticity, who we are. And they also then, because of that, we can act with clarity. We know what actions we need to take in our life to create the life that we want. So let's look at this. Let's make this practical for you. I'm going to show you three key methods to tap into your innate energetic connection. And these really build on my get clear dowsing answers in three simple steps approach, but we focus them inward. That you don't need dowsing tools, you just need you and a bit of a quiet space. So first, it's about awakening your personal energy centers. So I would begin by finding a comfortable seat outdoors, if possible, if you've got the space, perhaps in a garden, or a public park, if you can sit somewhere quiet without being disturbed. Try, situating yourself near a natural feature like a tree, a stone, whatever, where the earth energies are really more palpable. You feel the nature around you. It doesn't have to be a sacred space, but you can just feel that this space is alive. It's not some barren bit of soil where nothing lives or grows. Now, just close your eyes when you're in that space and just take a few deep breaths. Place one hand on your heart chakra, another on your solar plexus. It doesn't matter which way around your hands go, but because these are key portals for our emotive and intuitive energies. This is really the heart chakra is almost the center of your soul. You've got three lower chakras and three higher chakras. And visualize these energy gently flowing of light entering from your feet up to your legs to your root chakra and coming into your crown chakra. And they meet in the middle at your heart. And scientifically, this ground mimics sort of grounding techniques that reduce cortisol and they improve your heart rate variability. So these things aren't just, oh, it just feels nice, but it's all bunkum. There are measurable effects to doing these things. Just that gentle breathing and sitting out in nature. And spiritually, obviously, because you're actively engaging your mind in these processes, you're sending out your intention to the universe to, I want to connect with these geomagnetic currents of the earth and the cosmos. So our heart chakra opens. So that opens you to connection. And if you spend a few minutes, even just 5 minutes in your lunch hour, get out the office, go sit somewhere and sit next to a tree, just stand next to a tree and do this. Just notice any sensations that you get in your body, maybe a warmth, a tingling, just that relaxation, that reset. These are simple practices. It doesn't mean you're suddenly going to be, awakened like some guru and, all the fonts of the universe's wisdom is going to pour into you. You're just trying to open your connection. And the second practical exercise you have is really to align yourself with the geomagnetic currents of the earth. That are geomantic currents. Geomancy is all about creating places where we live and worship that enhance our life. So we want to build in places where the natural geomagnetic currents support our activities. And then we also use spaces that are particularly active in these currents as sacred spaces. So we use those sacred spaces to tap into the cosmos, to download or access, I don't like the word download, access to the cosmic wisdom. And then we can interpret that about what we need to do in our daily life to make our lives valuable, that we give of ourselves, that they're joyful, that they're value filled, that we offer something to humanity while fulfilling our soul's power. So if we align ourselves with these geomantic currents, that's a really powerful act. So once centered on ourselves, you can learn a simple practice like dowsing exercises almost without rods and pendulums. By introducing rods and pendulums, you're actually introducing like a third party tool, but it's your body, it's your mind that actually does the dowsing. You are the dowsing instrument because your mind has access to these quantum fields of information through these portals that are your chakras. So a simple practice is to stand with your feet sort of shoulder width apart, palms downwards, make sure you're grounded on the ground and ask a clear question. about maybe you could do this in your home as well. You could do this in your office space if needs be. But you can ask, is this space supportive of my highest good? And then observe your body's subtle reactions. You know, ask several questions. What is your body's response? Establish a yes response. You might find your body sways forward for yes and backwards for no. You can ask simple questions to establish this. What is your name? You can stand outside and ask, is my name? Insert your name here and see how your body responds. Does you get a heavy sensation in the right hand, for instance? And that's indicative that that is your body's yes response to the question. Ask questions to start with that you know the answer is yes and you know the answer is no. And this will get you to those feelings of a physical response to a yes and no question. It must be a question that only has a yes or no answer. And then you can go out and ask things like, is the energy in this room supportive of my highest good? Is the energy in this room supportive of my productivity, if it's an area where you work, for instance? Observe your body's subtle response to energy. This is like muscle testing. You can use finger testing as well. But this muscle testing, this body testing, is amplified by the Earth's fields. So, research into kinesiology shows that our muscles respond to electromagnetic cues in the environment. So our body is aware of stimuli all the time and responds to it. We're just not necessarily consciously aware of it. So we want to start becoming consciously aware of these responses because this is really dowsing. So over time, you will hone your innate dowsing ability, whether you're using a tool or not. And this helps you navigate your way through the world about life decisions, where to live, where to work, that can bring you into greater soul alignment. This building is really not conducive for me to work in. But perhaps this career isn't conducive for me either. And you can start to live in a really geomantically rich life. You can find areas to live and work that really also support your physical and spiritual well-being. And these responses can make a huge difference stacked up when you implement them to the overall quality of your life, your overall health and well-being, so that you feel well where you work, you enjoy going to work, or you decide that you're going to, create a new career and work from home, and you have a home office that really supports what you do because you feel that you can take action, you're focused, and you can be productive, rather than sitting at an office day in a job that stifles you and you can barely punch the keyboard or whatever. So that's the second exercise. The third exercise is really about conscious integration for your transformation. So this is about introspection. This is about you thinking about your life. So you can use journaling. It is a really useful tool. Think about what energies did you sense? How did they relate to your current challenges? So, for instance, a lot of earth energy mirrors we can live in homes where sort of certain energy almost becomes blocked and stagnant, but that actually mirrors sort of a blocked and stagnancy in our own life. We're not taking action. We don't know what action to take. We don't know how to accomplish what we want to accomplish. And then our sort of blockages are mirrored in energy blocks in the ground, and also we add to them. So it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. So we want to think about what action do we need to take? Where do we live? But also, but how is the earth energies reflecting that? I always say when I started house healing, I went into homes where people say, well, I was fine before I moved here, and then everything went wrong. And I would go in and meticulously work with the energies in the homes. But over time, I realized that actually, other problems were then coming through for this person in another way. And digging in, it normally wasn't that everything was fine till I moved to this house for the client. Normally, they were moving because they needed to change job, or their life had, so they needed a massive change in their life. So they thought just relocating would create that change. But actually, they were bringing all their emotional or personal baggage with them to this new house. So you have to look at, we live somewhere for a reason. Those energies actually mirror back to us in the ground. The energies of the place mirror back to us the lessons that we need to overcome. So we need to think about, why do I live here? What is my purpose at this stage of my life? What is this place trying to encourage me to do? How am I sensing the energies of place? Am I finding that they're blocked? Am I finding that they're so active, they're encouraging me to action, but I'm reluctant to act? What are they actually mirroring? And journal, think about this. This is something that I've gone back over my life and looked at all the houses I have lived in to sort of think about, respect, looking back, in retrospect. That was the lesson in that house. I may not have realized it at the time, but that was the lesson. Right back to your childhood homes, what were the lessons taught to me in my family home about basic things like love, respect, relationships? What were they? Because they are probably impacting me now. So this blends the sort of spiritual work of how in tune we are with the earth's energies, on a biological level, but also on a spiritual level, because it's those energies that enable us to actually facilitate having altered states of consciousness. It's the very geomagnetic forces that stimulate neurochemistry that enable us to have altered states of consciousness. So place is very important. So you want to think about how do you sense the energies of place? How do they relate to your current challenges? And this blends the scientific with the spiritual because this fosters growth. You could be as spiritual as you like and sit there meditating on a candle and going, aren't I good? Aren't I spiritual? But you've actually done nothing to change your life. You need to be analytical as well and say, this is where I'm feeling stuck. This is where I'm feeling blocked. What do I need to do about it? So remember, this isn't about forcing a connection with a place. It's about allowing what's already there in the place where you live and in places within you to come forward. As we align, then you often feel really powerful shifts. You get clearer intuition, you get sort of reduced anxiety, and those synchronicities start cropping up that really guide us towards our purpose. So, this perspective is kind of a little bit unique because it blends geomancy's earth based wisdom with your body's intrinsic role. You are a soul inhabiting this body. This body is a physical, organism that enables us to tap into really sort of metaphysical energies. So unlike purely meditative practices, when we come at it from this way, looking at the earth and our own energies, it's actionable, it's grounded, and it actually empowers us to move, empowers us as the prime mover in our transformation. So if you've explored my earlier content, my earlier videos, this extends, as I say, those ideas inwards, and it offers this approach I think offers a fresh layer for spiritual seekers and even wellness professionals alike. We are really intertwined in the energies of place. They come into us as a portal. They bring meaning, they bring information. Our job is to assimilate that. Our job is to really dig into it and then transform ourselves. So there we have it. I believe that we are indeed portals with the potential really to connect deeply to Earth's energies, the conscious force of the Earth and the wider cosmos for really true soul alignment. And I hope this has given you some thoughtful insights and some practical steps to try. And if this resonates with you, and if you want to explore further and you like the idea of learning to dowse, I invite you to join my Discover Your Dowsing Gifts masterclass. That's coming up, and that starts on February the 2nd, and that's going to be inspired by proven dowsing techniques that I have used for many years, and I've taught hundreds of people to dowse. So we're going to be diving into mastering these innate abilities during the Discover Your Dowsing Gifts, starting on the 2nd of February. We're going to be working to, as I say, look into these innate gifts through guided sessions, community support, you have your own group, and more advanced techniques. Spaces are limited, so head to the link in the description to learn more and secure your spot. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, stay connected, stay aligned, and take care. See you soon.